Okay, well, I think the Chiefs have a lucky rabbit's foot up their ass or something. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen a team win by the slightest of margins every time.
Yeah,
ever. I mean, it's shocking. It's shocking.
It's unbelievable how many one-score type games that they've won this season. And it was crazy stat that they put at the end of the game where it was like Patrick Mahomes when they're like losing late in the fourth and his record's only like 28 of 29 or something, or it's 28 wins to 29 losses. And I'm thinking, is that correct? Because I swear he wins every single dang one-score late game. So it's crazy.
Yeah. We got plenty to talk about, guys. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
What's up, Pyramid, man? You watching the Boat Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Charter blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Boat Bros on the beat, lead stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, Boat Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bolts in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.
Yeah. So, unfortunate turn of events, of course. And I mean, how crazy was it that the ball hit off of the upright and bounced in? I'm like, did that just happen? Was there just a little extra kick in the balls on the way out? We're thinking like, okay, cool. He missed it. Oh no. Oh no.
Totally. I thought it was going to be the Bears double doink where it hits off one side and boom, and then just pops away. But no, of course they get lucky on that field goal too. And it's, I mean, you could draw up literally any type of scenario that having this odd way to win a game. And the Chiefs have literally done it every single game this year.
Every single week, yeah. They should have lost to the Raiders last week for sure. I mean, they should have lost to the Raiders. Let's just say it, right?
100%.
Oh my God! And anyways, it is what it is. But the interesting thing let's look at this real quick. So I mean, obviously 17-19. I mean, the team stats were kind of crazy, guys. Almost exactly the same, which was just nuts. I was just looking at this. Look at this. I mean, it's almost identical, right?
It's crazy, isn't it?
First downs were the same. Third down efficiency, better third down for sure.
Yep.
Fourth down efficiency, they had more plays than us. I mean, guys, this is almost exactly the same. They even have more penalties, which is kind of surprised when I saw that. But even time of possession, look at that, almost dead even.
It's crazy.
I
mean, and to be honest, everything really started for the Chargers in the second half. I mean, they came out fire. I'll tell you, if we had the ball and we ended the game with the ball, I was hoping that we were going to have about 1:20 with no timeouts. I think we would have went downfield and scored and won that game. I mean,
we would have.
I totally felt that way. And to be honest, I'm not really even mad at this game by any means. I'm kind of looking at this game this was a big growth game for this team in a lot of different ways. And Nelson, I mean, sometimes it seems like these Chiefs games are literally completely scripted from top to bottom. It's just unbelievable to see how, like we said, how many times have basically the Chiefs found ways to win games late in the game and weird, odd ways to find ways to win game. I was kind of hoping what was going to happen in this end of the game is that we were going to block the field goal attempt. And we almost had it to where the field goal post blocked the field goal for us.
Yeah.
So
pretty
crazy game, guys. Crazy.
Yeah.
Game.
Really, really interesting game though. But again, I think the team fought well. And again, it's weird. I thought about this a lot watching this game. This far in the season, you would think that we would have our identity a little more figured out. I felt like we came back out, ran the ball, and we were better. We were more efficient. And the whole time I kept thinking to myself, why didn't we try and do this the first half? We just kept throwing the ball and it wasn't working, and we've got to be balanced. I think my big takeaway from this game specifically is that we're just going to be a little more balanced, and we're just going to, at least I'm hoping we're just going to be a little more balanced moving forward and just not sticking to one thing. And then, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? And I kind of felt like we were just trying to force the ball downfield. And oh my God, he should have hit Palmer on that. There were two throws to Palmer that could have completely changed the game. And
100%.
Wow.
Well, that's the game of inches, right? I mean, you basically just could lose a game by a couple small plays that didn't convert or did convert. You could win which way. Like, it's just like if Palmer had that, it would literally was like a foot in front of him. And if he had that, I mean, that was a complete walk-in touchdown for Palmer.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. But once again, I do look at it, and we'll chat about it a little bit later on in the slides, that this was really a big growth game too, for this team in a lot of ways. I mean, it's crazy.
I think we need more rushes too. I felt agree. Like, we haven't done well on first and second down. I think to some degree, in the NFL, first, second down is usually run the ball. And then, okay, what's our third down play? Which I don't like that way of thinking. We did mix it up a lot. We did start trying to throw the ball a bit more. But without having Ladidi out there, just the guy, they weren't separating the same way as they were. No. Again, they're playing man against us 100%. They're just pressing us. And, we don't have people beating man, but my argument to that is that's where Greg Roman needs to scheme up some space, right? Create a play to create some space. And, where's the screen passes? Where's, we're not seeing any of that stuff. Where's the short passes? Just, when they're playing off coverage, just turn around, hit Q.
Yeah.
And he just gets 5 yards, I mean, I feel like we're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. We're not mixing it up enough. Is I guess that's what I'm getting at. Am I crazy in thinking that, James? And
No. And so, I mean, I showed a couple screenshots of some plays of watching the Greg Roman offense and how the routes work. I mean, there was one that I sent over a screenshot through our chat where it basically 3 wide receivers went to the same meeting point right in the middle of the field. It literally was like a triangle formation where everybody just met in the same exact spot. And I'm thinking, why is there 3 dudes bunched up right in the middle of the field? Like, that doesn't make sense. And a lot of the routes that I'm seeing, there are a lot of kind of not straight cross kind of routes. They're very long kind of winded points. And then there's a low high kind of wide receiver following that same exact path. And so it's just longer drawn out plays. We got to start doing some more screens. We've got to do some quicker slants. We got to find ways to get more rhythm. And they started kind of doing that a little bit with Quentin Johnston in this game. You started saying, okay, this is the right idea here. And then we kind of go away, and we want to be able to have these longer type drawn out routes. And we got to find ways to get quicker passes out of Herbert's hand. He's over 4 seconds on the amount of time sitting in a pocket to throw.
It is interesting how long he has been sitting in the pocket. And I'm a little bit shocked by that. And I kind of feel like he should just go, okay, nothing's open, and just go, just run. But I think he was banged up. His legs weren't 100%. So I don't think he wanted to run after that hit. So, but Palmer, had a good game, but again, Stone Smart, would have been different if we had Ladidi out there.
Big catches by Stone Smart. And once again, that's a growth game for Stone Smart. I think Palmer, this was a growth game for him. I think for Quentin Johnston, I think this was a growth game for him. I think that those 3 guys are okay, I can make catches. Because how many other games have we had this season where it's all right, Lad's got 7 catches, 80-something yards, 2 touchdowns, and then Quentin Johnston's got 2 catches. Palmer's got 1. Stone Smart's not even a part of the game at all. Will Dissly usually has more catches than the second receiver out there. This was a growth game in a lot of ways. And you know what? You did have a DJ Shark signing for once in this game. He's alive. He's a real person for once. And once again, I'm still unsure why he's not getting a lot of snaps. He will bring a different dimension to this offense. And it's just odd to me that he's not getting more snaps out there.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the defense as well too, but we were talking offline there with the Bolt Bros is that, where's Asante Samuel, right? And it looks like he's, posting some things online, and it looks like maybe he's just not being played. And So you got to wonder if it's kind of the same type of thing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they ticked off some of the coaches. Who knows? Maybe there's some things that again, part of the offense too, though, it's not just about separation and your ability to catch the ball. It's also about blocking. It's also about doing what you need to do. People keep saying, well, why wasn't Stone smart out there? He's not a very good blocking tight end, guys. That's plain and simple. He's not a very good.
He's a small dude. Too.
Thin guy. Just like Denzel, or not Denzel Powerman, Parham, yep. Right? Parham was a very bad blocking tight end. And so, Stone Smart was that guy that just, he can catch the ball, but he's more of like a wide receiver, right? So, and I'll tell you, Jasir Taylor made a couple bad tackles. He's kind of strong. Funny thing is, last year he was actually our highest rated corner last year. So kind of interesting how things have changed a little bit. But but again, we need wins. I agree, 100%. We need wins. So I was a little bit shocked by some of the choices, but man, I thought our running game was good. Man, Gus looked good finally. Kamani looked good. Yeah. I think we could have leaned on them a little more.
I agree.
It's weird. I guess I'm having a hard time explaining what I'm trying. I feel like we're just kind of still trying to figure ourselves out. And I feel like at this point we should have had it figured out a little bit more. I just feel like we're run the ball well and then stop and let's all of a sudden throw the ball. Then, okay, no, let's go back to running. And then we're not balancing it out. And I guess that's a bit of my concern, right? Instead of running on first down, maybe throw a short pass on first down. Then we're not doing that either, right? So, yeah, anyways.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think Jalen Rager hurt his finger. So, interesting to see what happens with that. He'd probably be on the IR, I would assume. So we might be seeing some Shark, depending on what happens with Ladidi as well, too. So, but
100%. I mean, in the thing is, though, they did say he was questionable, the return on that. But, I mean, yeah, he might end up just being on the IR. I mean, once again, I don't understand why you're not seeing a lot more Shark when Jalen Rager, who essentially is his substitute, is out there getting more snaps than him. So you assume that at this point you have to see a lot of DJ Shark at this point. You assume.
Well, and Mighty, I wore the same jersey I wore last week, right? This is my Gates jersey. I'm like, okay, it was lucky for us last week.
Superstition, man.
Didn't work out this week,
dude.
But let's look at some of the tackles here. Deion Henley had a great game as well. Man, he's looking so good out there. I didn't see a lot of Colson. Let's see. Well, we'll see him down here as well. But Tarheeb still 6 tackles.
Yeah.
He's a smaller guy, guys. It's one of the things, I would say about him. Even Asante is small too, right? But 6 tackles, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Troy Dye, 4-2. Troy, this guy's, man, I've been very impressed. I thought this guy was just gonna be a special team linebacker. He's been great. Yep. Molden looking great as well. Just kind of an overall good defensive, effort here. Cam Hart looked good out there as well too.
Cam Hart's big hit on DeAndre Hopkins too to break up that pass was massive. That was massive. Love to see that play. Great play.
How much does DeAndre Hopkins' hair bother you? Yeah. Just that big dookie lock coming out the back. Guys in the chat, what do you think? Am I a jerk for saying that? Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, bro, you just stop that. Just get rid of it, dude. Just scissors it up. Let's go. Let's get rid of that thing. Fulton, Cam Hart, Puna, again, I felt like there were times where we were playing amazing, and then we would struggle at times. But again, you can't be perfect the entire game.
No.
But, let me just say this, though, too, guys. Look at these pickups that we got that are playing well. I mean, Tarheeb, again, 5th round pick. I didn't think it'd be anything. Troy Dye, didn't think he'd be much of anything. Elijah Molden, grabbed him for a 2026 6th round pick.
Yeah, I think it's like a 6th round. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been amazing. Christian Fulton, everyone hated him on the Titans, right? Yep. And he's been good. Another 5th round pick. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The future is bright, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm getting at, right? Is this team is still trying to learn how to win, and that's the big takeaway for me. I don't know. What's your thoughts there, James?
Well, and then the one thing I'm kind of even looking at it is we're doing a great job of basically picking up free agents and guys even off the wire that are actually able to contribute quickly. Like Marcus May last week getting a pick basically that week of getting picked up by the Chargers. You know, just finding great draft classes. Like we were having a conversation. I went to the Arizona Bolt Pride 602 watch party. Great turnout, super fun to be with a bunch of people watching the game and everything too. We were chatting about that, and we're like, one of the guys was like, hey, look, like I think it's probably going to be, 2027 that we'll be able to get pretty far. And I'm like, to be honest, we're ahead of schedule in my opinion, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We go and we get in the playoffs, we win a game. That's going to be a major, major increase for us. And a lot of people are going to say, hey, Harbaugh's the real deal. He's got something good brewing over there. We have $77 million next year to spend on free agents. On top of that, if we have one other really solid draft class next year, you could probably do a very, very big push.
It's going to be big.
I mean, bottom line, what I'm basically saying is that this whole coaching staff as an organization and everything too is doing a great job of getting to competitive really quickly. This year is already beyond past like what a lot of people thought this team was going to be.
Oh, big time. 100%. Well, and again, with arguably a really bad wide receiver room, right? QJ has looked okay. Yeah. Ladidi, again, he's more of a third down type guy, right? But man, like I was thinking about today, like what if we had kept Keenan Allen and he was healthy this year? Yeah. You know what I mean? Just one more guy, that coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? It is what it is. But but a lot of people ask again. A lot of people have been asking, why is Tucker Fisk out there? He's a better blocker. That's the whole reason, right? And you can make the argument, well, Stone Smart is better as a catcher. Agreed. But this team, they care about the blocking aspect as well, too, right? So you got Tucker Fisk, or not, not Tucker Fisk. Well, what am I drawing? Am I drawing a blank on his name? All of a sudden, what's his name?
Hayden Hurst or
no, Tucker Fisk. No, I'm sorry, it is Tucker Fisk. Yeah,
Tucker Fisk.
Yeah, the tight end. And so my point is, again, those big bodies. That's really why Stone Smart hasn't been out there, right? So I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you look at what Harbaugh likes in a tight end, he likes 260 kind of guys. Yep. He wants them to be 260 plus. And Tucker Fisk, I want to say that I saw that he was at like 270, 280 or something like that. He's a big dude. And I mean, in the second half, you started seeing him line up a lot more on the edge, and they were starting to run around the edges versus basically running in the middle. And they were getting way better run situations with a lot of big jumbo based packages. And Tucker Fisk was very, very involved in those packages too. So really, really good to see. I mean, and once again, Tucker Fisk was another guy that we just picked up off the wire too. And we're finding ways. Once again, coaching matters a lot, guys. Like to be able to pick up a guy like this off the wire and be able to get production out of them instantly, almost like fitting them in like they've been with the team the entire offseason. It's phenomenal. Once again, the Marcus May idea. You got to pick, first game actually first week being with the team. Yeah, found a way to basically contribute pretty quickly. So it's great to see.
Yeah, which is great, and it just goes to show you this GM group is still going to go find players all season, right? That's what they've done. Darius looks good. I'm still a bit shocked we haven't used him much more in the wide receiver room. I don't understand why. That is another question mark to me. I just don't get it. Like the guy has lightning speed. Now you can make an argument he's a little smaller, but I'm like, dude, look at Worthy, right? He's about the same size as Worthy, and Worthy's out there taking snap. I don't know. I just don't understand why we're not using him as much. So those are some of the questions I have from the offensive side of the ball. But let's look at some of the slides here, and we'll go from there. So I know these are your slides, James. So again, guys, I have the crayon. So
he has it today.
I'm 6'5" and fast AF. They need to sign me. Okay. All right.
Let's go. Go mighty.
Fisk is at 285. He's a big dude, man. Big dude.
That's like adding dang near like a whole nother like O-lineman to the dang freaking situation there. It's pretty big to be able to have a guy like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Hayrie right here. And I took this screenshot from his Twitter here, and look, this is the first half. I mean, 6 possessions, 5 punts, end of half. Chargers trailed 13-0, received the ball second half. Justin Herbert returned after exiting the game late in the second quarter. The thing about it is like that first half was just so stagnant. Like,
it was weird. I didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Like nothing was working. And yeah, it was weird. By the way, I did screenshot this and I probably could have added to the slide. We had a 91%. The Chiefs were at 91% to win the game at the half.
Yep.
And again, I think we should have won the game. I mean, so, we came back where, we did well, but
yeah.
So anyways, I just think it's one of the things.
Yeah, I think I might have had that as the next screenshot there too. I think I added that into there, but the thing about it is like,
there we go. Yeah.
So dang close. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Here
and I mean, we honestly, first half kind of just killed us. And it was funny. One of my buddies just texted me during the game. He's like, it's the reason why Greg Roman basically got let go from the Ravens. It's just, there's some odd choices that he decides to make in one half of the ball and basically just ends up just kind of being stagnant for some reason. I mean, 92 passing yards, 34 rushing yards. We easily doubled all those stats. Plus, it just seems like, man, you were just trying to force it too much with the wide receivers, knowingly that you don't really have your number one wide receiver out there. Is kind of an odd game plan. Like, I kept thinking, hey, just run the freaking ball. Put Kamani out there. Put Gus out there. Just punch him in the face and play physical.
It.
Yeah.
Well, and then it would also protect Herbert, right? Herbert doesn't have to get banged up at all, and I think maybe the reason why they were thinking about throwing the ball a little more this game too is just because the Chiefs have a pretty banged up secondary. And so that one guy went out and he was like a second or third string cornerback, right? So they were on like a 4th string cornerback out there. So maybe they thought, hey, we can beat these guys this way. But again, I just, we need more touches for these running backs, in my opinion. But man, first half, look at that, 13 first downs. Oof, that's not good. Only 6, not good. So interesting. Third down efficiency was the same though, which I thought was interesting. But
yeah, it's kind of funny looking at these stats and thinking like, wow, it's kind of oddly that we kind of evened up with them ultimately in the end of the game, which is crazy. I mean, we were chatting about it too. We're like, man, it seems like the defense is going to be on field for so dang long already. And we can't do that. We got to find a way to get a nice long drive, which we started out first half with a nice long drive.
Yeah.
Second drive that we had the possession in the second half, we did great again too. It's just a really, really funny thing to see. It's just ultimately our defense couldn't find a way to basically, bury it, not allow them to basically get another, touchdown, or at least the ability to kick a field goal. Almost like literally if we held him back probably 3 yards, he would have missed that field goal.
Yeah.
So shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I just felt like, anyways, it's just frustrating. Look at this, 91% chance, and
crazy.
But to your point, I think when you talk about Greg Roman, I think that he does seem like he gets a thought in his head.
Yeah,
and this is what we're doing, and then they just stick with it. Now, let me be clear about something though, too, guys. It isn't just him as well, right? You know that Herbert can check out of these plays, right? So if he's down in the field and he wants to audible out, he's going to audible out. So he might be playing, doing the running game, and then Herbert checks out. So who knows, right? And again, Harbaugh also can make the call too and say, hey, I want to do something different. You called this, I want to do this. So let's just understand that it's not 100% on Greg Roman, but he is ultimately the guy, calling the plays. I will just say, I think his creativity has become a little lackluster, in my opinion, right? You watch the Lions play, you watch, some of these other teams play, very creative, eye candy, and we're just not doing that. We're just playing very, football 101 type of plays, in my opinion. But
I agree.
I still hate the yellow pants, guys. I have to say it. Am I wrong? I mean, come on, guys. Okay, am I crazy? Am I not crazy? Come on. What do you think?
I mean, it would be pretty cool to be able to see it with like a white baby blue bottom or something like that, or just, let's just keep it to the whites. But I got no problem with the yellow pants. I got no problem with it. I
just can't get on board. I don't know. Oh. And so Timmy says the next 2 games are going to be really hard to win. Yeah, we'll see. I do think they're going to be tough. I mean, the Broncos and
Yeah, it's the Bucks next week, and then the Broncos after that on a Thursday night. I mean, a short week going into that Bronco game too. So, I think the Bucks are kind of an up and down team. You don't really know who they are. I personally think that we're not going to have much of a problem. I think we'll do more than enough against the Broncos to be able to beat them and sweep them for the year. I'm booking that. I'm booking that one. We're going to go 2-0 the next two games, in my opinion.
So and again, what did I predict at the beginning of the season? 12-5. Yep. I said 12-5.
Right on track.
So we're on track. And I think we can win the next two games. And then I do think that 12-5 would be pretty awesome.
That would be tremendous.
It would just be nice to see Ladd back. I'd love to see him back. And
yeah,
here we go. Peeing your pants is the coolest. Peeing your pants is the coolest, and just consider me Miles Davis.
Like what? Classic line.
Yeah, Eddie, you were saying you were feeling sick. Hopefully you get better, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully so.
I saw that earlier. So let us know how you're doing, buddy, for sure. But Herbert, it's interesting. I'm curious how much heat he's going to get after this game. I will say this: he needs to get the ball out of his hands faster. I don't understand why he's holding the ball for as long as he is. And I get it. You want the big bomb. He's got the arm for it, but do some short plays here and there as well too. I don't know. It seems like we're putting him in harm's way for no reason. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, once again, I'm going to talk about it as many times as you can. I feel like once again, the plays are basically designed for long routes. And it could also be that the players aren't getting out of their routes well. Maybe they're really bad route runners. Maybe that's not the right routes for our wide receivers. I mean, once again, get some hooks out there. Remember Lombardi having like 4 wide receiver sets and everybody does a hook play basically at that point. And I don't feel like we do a whole heck of a lot of those. Like we always kind of run sideline to sideline almost in a way, when people that run out routes and sideline to sideline type routes. Like we're not doing get to a spot and just turn around and get the ball thrown at you. We're not doing a lot of that. And so I think that's something that does need to get going. I mean, there was one route with Quentin Johnston with a slant that I saw, and I was like, that's exactly what you need to do with Quentin Johnston.
Saying. Something quick,
exactly
dude.
What you need to do every single time. And that will get you 6 to 7 yards plus, and it could be a plus play, a big explosive play too, with a guy that has yak ability like Quentin Johnston. Like
he does. And he took that guy out of the game. He hit him on the sideline. That guy got knocked out. And I'm like, play physical like that, Q. And he's a big dude, man. He can hit people really hard. So, and again, it was good to see a bounce back game for him. So,
very much.
Again, the team as a whole still needs to learn how to win, right? It's still a confidence thing. It's still figuring out how to win in the NFL, right? So, it is what it is. Yeah, and the Raiders are locked over first overall pick for sure.
So the And I think Aiden O'Connell got injured today too. So
that's right, he did. Yeah, Ritter was out there. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, going back to Quentin Johnston, like before this, I think he was 4 for 13 in catches, like in the last 2 games. So he's had 13 targets, 4 catches. That is not good, but this is a good bounce back game for Quentin Johnston. This is where I keep saying this was a very good growth game for the wide receivers on this team. Like, it allowed Quentin Johnston to play a little bit bigger in this game, allowed Joshua Palmer to really open up a little bit more in this whole offense. Stone Smart made some great catches at the right time of this game. So this was a very, very good growth game. And I don't really honestly feel mad about this at all. And looks like
I'm always mad, dude. I don't want to lose.
Oh, no, I don't want to lose. But the way I look at it is if we stay currently we're in the 6th spot, there's a great chance that we will be playing the Chiefs if we win the first wild card game, and we could potentially, I should say they're the 1, so that would be playing the 7 or 6 at that point. So bottom line, if we could just beat them in the playoffs and just really just take it to them at the right time, I would be way more happy about that.
Take it to them at the right time.
Take it to them at the right time, baby. Boom.
Yeah, let's beat them in the playoffs where it really matters, man.
Yep.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, 2 air horns. And so Rice is on the IR. So a shoulder injury. Actually, you know what? Might not be a bad idea to show the IR because the IR is stacking up, folks.
Yep.
It is stacking up. And I was a little bit sort of surprised when I was looking at it just the other day. I was like, oh boy. I mean, by the way, even Simi out is because he's a great blocking wide receiver. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's good.
I've said this over and over again. Like, make him a tight end, right? Make him put on, feed him some meatloaf and In-N-Out burgers or something. I don't know, figure it out, right? Add 20 pounds, he'll be an all right tight end, I mean, he's 6'4", big dude, right? So, but Eli Apple, by the way, he got hurt last game, like the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning.
I mean, that was super random too. It just seemed like it just happened so quickly. And then all of a sudden he was like, all right, he's out.
Yeah.
Now on the IR.
It's like, holy smokes. Now Colson was elevated. So he's back now. Dobbins, who knows? They were talking about him. I think the concern is, it's his knee, right? It's his knee that's been a problem. So I sneakily think that they're resting him for the playoffs, right? So that's just me, but we'll see.
Yep, get him right. I mean, essentially, if he comes back after 4 weeks, he could play against the Patriots and then the Raiders. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got some touches. Just kind of get the wiggles out. Simi Alohi's out. Hayden Hurst. I mean, guys, these are big players. Brandon Rice had a shoulder injury, I believe, is what he had, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that.
And Rumpshaker's been on the IR all season. No idea what's going on with that, Asante, again, we talked about it. Kind of sounds like there's something going on there that I don't know. Like,
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just I personally think it's something to do with him not meeting the physicality needs that they would like to have at that cornerback position. And you really think Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart are outplaying dang near almost everybody on the team right now.
Yeah.
So stick with what's working. And that seems to be the Harbaugh way. Meatloaf.
I got a rump shaker. That's right, dude. Well, but again, it is nice having, like, I'll say Hayden Hurst is big. I think Hayden Hurst is a much better catch, and blocking tight end, right? So, and Asante is good, man. I mean, Asante, when he's on the field, that guy's a ball hawk. But I think part of why they probably don't like Asante to some degree, I'm just going to say this. He tends to like to jump routes. So he'll be a little more risky and maybe not play quarters or zone the way that Jesse Minter wants him to play, right? So, again, I have no information on that, but it's something that I would just assume. So
I agree. But I'd say Herbert really did a pretty good job this game. I mean, I think that second half was really, really big. And once again, this guy right here, Palmer. Oh man, if we only hit that one big pass, he was wide open. He could have walked in for a touchdown. It would have been beautiful to watch that happen, and just off by a foot, give or take. And so, but to be honest, like, once again, I keep saying, I feel like this is a growth game for this wide receiving team, and getting a little bit away from the whole idea that Ladd McConkey was literally this whole dang offense, it seemed like, for a while there. So I think it was very good for our wide receivers to go out there and make some plays and make some. Joshua Palmer's a good receiver, man. Like, he's a very good. For whatever reason, he didn't get enough looks throughout most of the season, but I think it was really good to just see a lot of our wide receivers step catches when necessary.
Yeah, and it has been, again, I still feel like for whatever reason we're still struggling offensively. And I don't know, I would say this. I do think that the defensive side of the ball underneath Jesse Minter has done a better job of game planning. I feel like I don't know if it's just Greg Roman or the offensive staff. They're not game planning the best. That maybe that's the better way of saying it, right? And because we're not pivoting the right way, we're not making adjustments in game as we need to. So, and you're right. Like, this is partially why you like Cam Hart, because he can catch, and play more physical.
Well, I mean, you go back to that Cam Hart tackle that he made where he broke up the pass from
Big.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
I don't know if ASJ would have been able to do that. Like, I mean, big on big, basically. You know what? You get a guy or somebody like that and make him drop the ball. I don't think ASJ could do that, being a smaller guy.
Who blitzed? Oh, it was Cam Hart. Yeah, Cam Hart blitz. Remember that blitz? And then he paused. Yep. And I was like, dude, just put your helmet in his stomach, dude, and put him on the ground. Just knock him on the ground. Like, I don't understand why he paused there. And I know he was like thinking he was going to pump and throw over him, but I mean, just hit him. And that one was hard to watch.
Just run. Like, go after him.
Yep. Put him on the ground.
The thing is, 100%. And I mean, even to say with Cam Hart, like, I think it was just enough to basically kind of throw off that play any which way, though. So it kind of got him a little bit spooked on trying to make a play.
Yeah, and I think this is the offensive lineman 74 that he was moving before the ball was snapped. It's pretty frustrating. I still get annoyed with that because he was moving, and anyways, they should have called many flags on that, but it is what it is, right? But again, you can't say enough about these edge rushers, man. I'm curious to see what happens next year with these four. I think don't we have Dupree for another year? I don't think we have one more year, right? Now, are we losing Bosa or are we losing Mac? I can't remember.
Mac essentially would be on a 1 year, I believe now.
Right.
Let me look at that right now.
Yeah, I think we're losing Mac if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Perriman was missed.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
I think we get worried. I think we get worried when Justin Herbert gets hurt. I think until then, if Herbert's in the game, we're going to be fine.
Yep, absolutely.
It would be interesting to see what happens with Bosa. I wonder if there would be an because I think we have Bosa for one more year, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So Max okay. Yeah, that's Oh, so Dupree is only on a 1 year. Gosh, I thought we had him for a 2 year for some reason.
Yeah, Bosa is essentially under contract next year, but obviously if we let him go, we will get $25 million cap saving. Khalil Mack's on a void-based year next year. So, I mean, we could sign him again. And it does show that Bud Dupree is on the payroll in 2025.
Yeah, I thought he was. I was pretty sure he was. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Allen. Yeah, there are some discussions. We could probably bring Allen back. I would say you'd got to get him cheap at this point, right? So, all right, well, we want you, but hey, man, we already paid you $12 million to not even play on our team. And, why don't we pay you, 7 or 8 million with some incentives or something? Here's the thing, guys. The fact that we're going to go to the playoffs, we're going to make the playoffs, guys. Let's be very clear. We're going to make the playoffs, right? Whether what position we get, we're going to make the playoffs. But the question is, players now will want to play for the Chargers because the Chargers are good. I mean, look at the Chiefs. Everyone wants to play for the Chiefs. If they have an opportunity, they'll go play for the Chiefs. So now you can incentivize these players to come here and say, all right, well, we will take you, but you got to come back for, a smaller salary plus incentives, and that's because, we want to stack our team. And that's the difference, guys. It really is. So,
well, I mean, you got to even say that before this season, Bosa and Mac took less money, right, to play here because they thought they were going to find ways to win. And you know what? You're going to get these players that are going to want to come here because they want to win, and they'll be glad to take a little less money. I mean, how many millions do you need to be happy, basically? And I mean,
they've already made millions, right? So, and Mighty, that was Joey Bosa. It looked like he got a concussion, so I'm kind of curious. Actually, I should Google that. Does anybody know if he's got a concussion or not? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, oof.
Yeah. But yeah, once again, all three of those guys on the field are always dangerous. And I mean, they were getting a lot of pressure. And the reason why I wanted to highlight that, because I felt like we did a great job. We even got to a point to where we got 3-man rush and we still broke down the pocket pretty easily. And so it was crazy to watch.
I can see Mac signing a nice incentive-based deal and just retiring a Charger. And then Bosa running it back one more year, and then you got Bud Dupree. Dude, guys, I could see it happening. I really can, because I think Mac likes being in LA. I think he's happy. He's enjoying it, and Bosa's there one more year. They can work it out. Like, let's be very clear about that. They can work it out, right? But it just boils down to, do they want to get paid less? And does Mac even want to come back? The guy's a bit of a freak of nature, in my opinion.
Stud. Absolute stud. Absolute stud.
Eddie, good night, everyone. My hot nurse has entered the hospital room now. I'm putting on the do not disturb. Get it, Eddie. Hold on. Eddie. We need to have that. We'll do the air horn for you. Or how about a cheer? Come on now.
I hope everything goes well for you, Eddie.
Yeah, for sure. Quentin Johnston tonight, 21-yard reception, 15-yard penalty. Yeah, he was big.
He did fine today. This is probably one of the best games I've seen him have thus far. To be able to get these pass interference penalties, to get these extra penalties, extra yards. To be honest, the stats don't say as much as what the total story is. And these are the things that you look at as a wide receiver. Can they find ways to get pass interference penalties and be able to get those flags thrown? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Lockdown defense. What's up, my guy?
Yeah, the middle crayon line was pretty bad, though. I was like, oops, kind of. I don't know, had a little flutter there, Sorry about that. But guys, look, the good news is I think we're on pace to definitely make the playoffs. Morris Brash. Interesting to see what happens with him next year. I'm kind of curious. I'm really curious to see what happens with him. I do think, though, this team has got good players. Yeah. We don't want to talk about the defensive unit here next year as well, too. I was just thinking about that kind of sadly, but Quentin Johnston, give this man a cookie. You know what I mean? I wonder if he gave out some game balls today. Probably not, since we didn't win. But
on a loss. Yeah, probably not on a loss.
But Q showed up, man. And man, I love the way that he hit that guy at the end like that too.
Yeah.
Put your shoulder down, and dude, he knocked that dude out. He's gone. He's locker room. See ya. And Q's a quiet guy, but I think he'll just get better and better. That's the nice thing. His upside is going to get there, but just kind of wish that he'd had that dog mentality a little sooner. Good to see.
When I was at the viewing party too with Bull Pride 602 guys, they were talking about, hey, look, first couple of years of Keenan Allen took some time, right? And
so did Williams.
Williams, yeah, it took some time, and you can't jump from basically college and just expect that you're just going to be an absolute stud. It's going to take a little time. Mind you, I'll say that Keenan Allen first year did have over 1,000 yards catching, but it took a little time for him to kind of get a little bit more. I think his body more in a better shape all around too. Because 2015 he basically went out, I think, on an injury season there too. 2016 same thing, but then from that point on, 2017 on and beyond, he stayed pretty healthy throughout. So I think it's just going to take some time a little bit with Quentin Johnston, and we're going to have some growing pains. But once again, I do go back to that point. I feel like there was a very, very good growth game for him to kind of highlight a little bit more of Quentin Johnston too. And by the Wiggins, pretty good today.
Yeah. We don't look into the future. We want to win now. And again, the one thing I will say too, Mighty, I'll just pull it up real quick, is the nice thing about Joe Ortiz is going to try to always field the best 53-man roster. That's why they're turning people over, right? I think that's why you're wondering what's going on with Asante. Let's say Asante doesn't play the rest of the season, right?
Yep.
Whatever reason. He doesn't play. He walks. And he signs for another team. That's a comp pick. That'll be a high comp pick for us.
Yep.
So maybe that's part of the conversation. Maybe he is a little banged up, but they're like, all right, we'll just sit him.
Yep.
And give us a comp pick, right? So, anyways, it's something to think about strategy wise, right?
Yep, absolutely. And then that's Joe Ortiz's part of his strategy. He likes getting them comp picks. So,
and we already got quite a few comp picks. I think we have 3.
Yeah, I think we have a total of 8 picks next year so far.
8 picks, yeah, 8 picks. I mean, the Eagles, they walk away with like 10 every year, which is crazy. So they're cycling their whole team. But 8's good. 10 would be better. More bites at the apple. But man, Stone Smart looked good today, man. And I'll say this again: the difference is, guys. Everyone keeps asking, why did he not play? He's not a great blocking tight end, right? That's the difference. So he's more of a wide receiver. But hey, he's definitely warranted some more touches, I think.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. The way that he played today, I mean, he definitely got to get more touches. I mean, the thing is, though, we're going to be pretty down on, especially if Will Dissly goes down. Will Dissly basically is pretty much our blocking tight end has basically been our pseudo essential, like wide receiver or tight end passing wide receiver, pass catching wide receiver for us. So bottom line, this might be the Stone Smart show. Now, I don't know when Hayden Hurst will be able to be activated off the IR, hopefully sooner than later, but hey, I like the way that Stone Smart played. He made some good catches and everything too. So I was pretty pleasantly surprised to see that. And I felt like Stone Smart even last year made some pretty clutch catches too. So once again, this is a part of the growing part of this team, guys. And I think there is some growth happening even in the depth side of things now with this team.
Yeah. Yeah. It will be interesting to see how many of our players are going to be ready to go for the playoffs, right? I think they might be saying, all right, Hayden, let's have you sit it out. Yeah, you're banged up, but let's let you come back maybe for the Patriots or the Raiders, and then you'll, get the dust off. But then there's the other argument. You haven't been playing all season, and maybe you shouldn't be playing at the end, right? So I don't know. There's a lot to be said about that. So
100%.
But yeah, I mean, it was good to see Gus Edwards. I felt like we should have leaned on our running game a lot more. Even the first half, I'm kind of hoping we go with a blend like we did this second half of this game. I like the run pass, but boy, Pipkins was getting burned, dude. And he is not the future of the right guard. This is his last season. He's going to walk. He will sign somewhere else. Again, another comp pick, but Pipkins ain't the guy, dude. And, so they got to figure that out. So.
Well, and you got to think about the nucleus of like your offensive line. I mean, Bradley Bozeman necessarily hasn't been good, but at the same side, you're only as good as your next guy to you. So, like, let's say Pipkins truly is that whole, issue with that line. Let's say you get a really solid right guard there, and then you could really like solidify that old line, and maybe Bradley Bozeman will be looking really good next season. But I one thing that kind of makes me nuts about this team is how many times we love running the ball up the gut. And I feel like I kept saying, like, guys, start working around the edge. You have 2 stud tackles. Like, swing them out, let them kind of run a little bit more on the outside. And eventually they started doing that in the second half. I mean, we came out with some great drives starting the second half. That first drive was phenomenal. It was like a 7-8 minute type drive. And we did a phenomenal job on that drive. And I really think that tired out the Chiefs a little bit more. I mean, ultimately, they got away with, once again, a odd Chiefs win. Basically, crazy field goal attempt that almost double doinked that point. So, yeah, dude, it was crazy. But bottom line, I really feel like we should have leaned on the run game more.
Yeah,
I mean, Gus Edwards, there is that side of growth that I think I saw a little bit from him. Kamani Vidal, once again, I think he grew. He started growing a little bit more in this game. I mean, he did have one drop pass. I would say that was somewhat of a tough throw any which way. It was still kind of low.
Little off. Yeah.
But bottom line, I think we need to just kind of run a little bit more, play a little bit more balanced, try to find a couple drives where you can just punch people in the mouth with physicality. And I think we did that in the second half pretty well, but ultimately didn't work out well in our favor.
It was a little strange. It was a little strange. And, but again, you're never going to get everything you need in your first season, right?
Yep.
The fact that we're winning the way we are is good, and there's a lot of talent here. Now, again, Gus Edwards, I believe we have Gus Edwards for another year. I believe JK Dobbins is on a 1-year deal, if I remember correctly, but we're going to replace our right guard probably in the draft and maybe in free agency.
Yep.
You know, who knows? Maybe Jamari gets a start, but I mean, he was getting blown up. Pipkins was getting blown up, dude. I believe Clark was right on him the whole game, and dude, that guy's a beast. That guy is like a straight up just hill giant, you know. So, you know, our D&D games, you know,
D&D days, yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's our last slide here. So, yeah, I mean, interesting loss, right? I mean, shitty loss. We don't want to lose, of course, but you know. Look, I'll just say this. I'll give my thoughts, and then I'll pass to you, James. I mean, look, I think that this game was – I hate losing. But at the end of the day, I swear, Andy Reid got to deal with the devil or something like that, just like Nick Saban, you know, or Bill Belichick, you know. What is going – I cannot understand how a team has been that lucky, right, in – yeah, you can blame the refs, you can all the above. It's really frustrating. But my point is, Chargers are a good team, guys. We have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot to appreciate. We're going the right direction. I think we're going to be fine, and I definitely think we're going to be in a good. We're going to be fine moving forward, guys. And I think we can make a splash in the playoffs. We're a tough, gritty team, man. You know, I don't know.
I agree. I mean, my thoughts of this whole game is that, look, like, I didn't really necessarily put this game as like we need to win it. It was more of a moral victory if we ended up winning this one, in my opinion. If we did find a way to basically win it, great. You got to love to have that staple type win against the Chiefs. But once again, like, you got 4 games ahead of you right now. You got the Bucs next week at home. Then you got the Broncos on a Thursday night. Then you got the Patriots on the road, and then you got the Raiders on the road. So you honestly have 4 games in front of you. In my opinion, I think are very, very winnable based games. I mean, ultimately, one of the biggest games that's going to happen next week is the Broncos Colts game coming off the bye. Now, why is that big? Broncos win that game, that pushes back the Colts from the playoffs and almost eliminates them at that point. That's the 8th seed, essentially. There's only 3 seeds in the whole wild card, right? So that pushes basically the Chargers up, that pushes the Broncos up, that pushes up the Ravens, or if it's going to be the Steelers, whoever it's going to end up being in the wild card position. That's a game that benefits us regardless. If the Broncos end up winning, that pushes out the Colts. The Colts wins, that basically pushes back the Broncos further back from us. We own a tiebreaker at this point. That second game against the Broncos, if we beat them again, we essentially will be having the tiebreaker and a two game advantage essentially at that point. So once again, like, this game was great. I thought it was great. I see a lot of growth in this team. I think there's going to be some big things that are going to be happening with this team. And personally, I would love to be able to see us play them in the playoffs and beat them in the playoffs. Like, how beautiful would that be?
That would be so much better. I mean, let's beat them when it matters, guys. And again, that's the thing to also remember, guys. Look, you just got to get a ticket. Doesn't matter. You just got to get a ticket, and then you got to win out, you know, and you have to be playing your best football by the end of the season. And again, I'm hoping that's what happens. I do, like I said, that's maybe what I'm saying too, is like, I feel like we're still sort of figuring out combinations of certain things, right? You know, like, I think the Lions have it figured out, right? That's why they're playing such good football. Yep. But we are still struggling to understand the best way, the best combination of plays and first down, second down. And you would think by now you got to figure it out, right? You just would think. So anyways.
Yeah. I was going to say one comment in there saying, Odakata, is it Odakata? I think is the name. It says, not looking good versus Broncos, but we'll see. I'll say this. I don't really personally think that they look very good against good defenses. Yeah. I think that's where they struggle. What's his dang name? What's their quarterback's name? For some reason,
Bo Nix.
Oh yeah, Bo Nix. Like, I don't think Bo Nix does well against good defenses. And he seems like he struggles harder on those type of games. So I do think that's where this team's going to be the advantage. I think the Chargers are a much better team when we initially beat the Broncos too. So I think that we will be fine. So, and Harbaugh's already beat Peyton like a month ago.
He's already beaten him. Yeah. And so, and I think our defense is getting better too, right? Our defense is playing better. Our offense needs to play more consistent. That's another part of, what we're going to say. So, I would suspect. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
That's right. Just like we were saying it there, like that's the whole thing. Like, once again, I think 12-5 is very, very doable for this team. And I feel very, very confident in saying that, in my opinion. So, we'll see. Starts next week, right? See if our prediction is correct.
And again, we ain't going to win a playoff game like that. I agree. So, yeah, but the offense needs to show up. I agree. And that's my point, right? I feel like the offense all season has really been the problem. They have not been consistent. They've been up and down at best. And so that needs to change. And again, the wide receiver room has been okay, but I also think to your point, James, I think some of the route trees have been a little weird, a little too much downfield all the time. It's like, okay, it's kind of like, I kind of feel like we're playing Tecmo Bowl or whatever, all streaks or Madden, all streaks, 4 goes, just 4 goes, just 4 goes. And it's like, come on, anyways, I think that's where it's an interesting situation. So, all right.
I agree.
Well, guys, we are the Bolt Bros. As you know, we're going to have as much content as we possibly can coming out. I suspect we're probably going to have some more pickups, some more transactions. There are going to be players available, so we're going to go after. We'll see what happens, guys. So, a lot to be said about that, guys. Well, we're the Bolt Bros. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast.